like to welcome on our next guest of the program and a frequent guest here and a speaker with us at our events, Denise Winston, who's founder and CEO of Money Starts here. Denise, good morning.
Hello. It is so great to be with you this morning. Gosh, I'm so excited about the conference next month. I'll tell you, you guys do some pretty incredible work, and I'm excited to be able to join you today and also at the conference in November.
Yeah, it's great to have you with us, and appreciate, as always, your contribution. Give our listeners a little background on what you're doing and Money Starts here.
Well, gosh, financial wellness. I've been doing financial wellness programs for the past 7 years, and really, as a banker for 25 years, I saw every day how money impacts people's lives, and leading cause of divorce, no surprise, money, financial stress suppresses your immune system, makes you sick, makes you go to the doctor, drives up healthcare claims for the employer and the employee. And when you look at a business's bottom line of, just profitability, and you look at how that's being squeezed and what's happening, it really drives the work that I do. And I also spent some time as a broker. And so learning from the HR professionals that are out there and the CEOs and from the brokers and from, all of that environment, being able to come to the market and really bring something of value. A lot of the listeners out there and you guys, what I find is really resonating with people is, you're familiar with workers' comp and how expensive and crazy it is and how we need our employees in our workforce healthy and productive and safe, so we can control costs and be productive and meet our projections for profitability. But the work that I'm doing now with financial wellness, to me, the program that I've designed and the work that I'm doing really is to health insurance what a safety program is to workers' comp, which is a strategic way to control costs. So it's all about the healthcare spend and how do we control it and how do we manage it. So it's exciting times right now for the industry, but challenging but also exciting because there is hope, believe it or not, around the corner.
Yeah, and so that highlights some of the reasons why you see it as a hot topic right now, and with employers and their employees. And isn't there a common sense approach to why financial wellness should be embraced? I mean, when we first started hearing about it, we go, But then when we thought about it, so that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I see that in the trend that I'm seeing, you'll see a lot of it. It's such a hot topic. A lot of research is coming out, and the reason why it's such a hot topic and the common sense approach, for the first 5 years of my work, I felt like I was kind of pushing rope, saying really financial wellness is important, and people are like, yeah, I kind of get it, but now with the Affordable Care Act, the main game changer is that the ACA says that the government says that if your premiums for an employer or not for an employer are not more than 9.5% of your gross income, you can afford these premiums. That's not even taking into consideration the actual deductible. And because the employer is having to shift more of the cost onto the employee, think about this, and this is where the banker insight of what I saw day in, day out for 25 years when I was looking at the bank account activity for the consumer, looking at their credit card statement and doing loans. I know what these people know and don't know about money. So when we're saying that you can afford 9.5% of your gross income to cover your health care premiums, these people cannot afford it. They don't have that money, and nor do they have the money for that high deductible plan. So this is why I think all of a sudden in the next, all of a sudden now it's such a hot topic and going forward in the next couple of years, because financial stress suppresses the immune system, which makes you sick, which makes you go to the doctor. So when we're shifting more of that cost onto the employee, the reality is it's going to do nothing but get worse because they have access to credit cards. So they're going to go further in debt, which drives up even more of the problem for everyone involved.
And then you combine that with the emergence with employers looking at total well-being. And how do we address the total well-being in our employee population? I was just at one of our partners' events this week, Denise, Hero, which is a leading wellness organization, and all we talked about was total well-being. And the interesting thing is you talk about things like caring and mindfulness and other these things. That's all good stuff and all important stuff. But if you've got your employees stressed out about their finances, it's hard to get them to go run 5 miles. It's hard to get them to eat right. It's hard to get them to think about meditation, right? I mean, you've got to help them be better educated and help them manage their finances.
And you are so right. And I'm actually in Nashville right now doing at another employee benefits conference speaking on this topic, and a lot of it, even sleep. We self-medicate when we are financially stressed, and that could be, very rarely do we self-medicate with exercise. Usually it's, something to eat, something to drink, something to take a pill, something to shopping. I like retail therapy, right? So you're going out and you're spending more money, all which has the overall impact. So that total well-being, and let's even just talk real quick about the typical income. And this is where the listeners, and if we get this one concept, this is the banker in me talking. The typical income is you have 100% of your gross income for a person. 43% of that can be used for housing and debt management from any lender out there. They'll allow 43% of your gross to be used for that. Then if you're making average Joe $50,000 a year, your federal income tax bracket is going to be 25%. If you're in California, another income tax of 9.3%. But let's just say 30% is for income tax. 73% of your income is already accounted for. Now the Affordable Care Act comes in with 9.5. You can afford premiums. And then that 10% that's left that we should be saving for retirement or charitable giving or tithing, like you were talking about, those things within our community, that leaves the average person 7.5% left of their income to live and enjoy life on. Food on the table, clothes on their back, transportation, fuel for their car insurance. That's not even, taking your kids to a movie or anything else. So I think the quality of life, we need to realize what's coming in the future and how the financial stress, as you said, does impact every other aspect. And you were talking earlier about the HSAs and, how critical those are in the role of the high deductible plan and healthcare consumerism and the private exchanges that are out there. And think about how expensive this is. And because these people don't know how to budget, they can't even afford to put money into a pre-tax account and take advantage of what's available to them because they simply don't have the money. It's important for us to remember that as employers and as, healthcare professionals and brokers and everyone else, when we have to start at the very fundamental basics of what's going on and give these people some tools to help them deal with what they're being forced to deal with.
So these are some of the, you've been doing this, as you alluded to, for several years. So financial wellness is not new to you. That's why you're one of the leaders in this space. So that's some of the things you're talking about now is how you see your work changing today from what it was 5 years ago, right?
Absolutely. When I first started doing this, when I left the banking industry after 25 years, I really was focusing on credit score management, budgeting. I was working on financial goals and, how to get things at a better cost and deal with that. But when I was working with like a 1,200 life group that had been doing financial wellness programs for 5 years, and they kept coming back to the Affordable Care Act, and we've got to get our arms around this, and we can't continue to do that because we've got to worry about this. And that's when I took a deep dive off into the broker space for, a year and a half and started realizing that the main problem we have is with health care because it's mandatory and it's expensive and it's complicated. So during that year, doing those open enrollments and working with brokers and Sherman, finding out what the challenges were for the employee and the employer, basically it had me do a 360-degree pivot and lead with education around health insurance and making sure the employees have a better understanding. And that's why I'm so compelled with the work that you guys do, because that healthcare consumerism, we've got to teach people. It's no longer a need to know. They have to know how to use it because we have to have health insurance, otherwise we get penalized. But it's so complicated and sophisticated. Where do you learn? You don't care about so I have an online platform and I open it up and I have courses on, how to get what you want, financial goals and budgeting. Every dollar has a job for budgeting. And when I have the health insurance, Smarter, Faster health insurance, people don't go into the course and go, oh my gosh, I want to take health insurance first because that's so exciting. Unfortunately, we know that's just not going to happen. So how do you get them to care? Because we need them to care before they have something happen, because that's usually when you care about your benefits. And so if you don't know the difference between telemedicine or your advice nurse or, the emergency room, that one decision at a critical moment, if you don't even know what your options are, can mean a difference in $8,000 in healthcare spend for the group as a claim and for the employee as they're on full-on deductible, right? So it can be pretty powerful, just one decision making a misstep unknowingly. can make a major difference for everyone involved.
Yeah, so that's some of the impact on the health insurance spend. And what you also talk about the impact on workers' comp programs. Talk a little bit more about that, if you would.
Gosh, I was just talking to a guy at the conference this morning, and he has a company with 360 employees. And, you know, when someone is distracted at work with their finances, I'm looking out my window right now, and there's cranes in Tennessee everywhere. On this job site, there are guys with hard hats, and there are guys with vests, and there's so much safety going on in that environment. You know, we have to think about the training that they went through in order to get there. And if they're distracted with the fact that their car has been repossessed or their wife is out, you know, taking the kids to the doctor, or they can't make their electric bill, as the guy was talking, the HR professional was talking to me this morning, if they're distracted with that, there is a good chance that they're going to make a mistake on this job site right below me. And that could impact a workers' comp claim immediately. And same with disability. You know, when somebody's financially stressed, the leading cause of disability claims is going to be stress. So we have to make sure that we're giving the tools and be the reality that our employees are making 6 to 10 financial decisions every day, and we don't teach money as a subject in our schools. We don't teach it in our society. And so we're asking people to deal with very expensive, complicated financial tasks with little or no education and no tools. And that is, you know, eating into profit margins within our organizations. It's costing us a lot of money.
Denise, you know, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes here, and I want you to have an opportunity to talk to our listeners about your program, and somebody's interested where they can come and contact you. But talk a little bit about your specific program. You know, you've done a nice job of talking about the trends and the expertise, but let's talk about your program and what's unique about your program.
What's different about what I have with financial wellness is, you know, right now, is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? Is it a product, a service, a program? They're coming from everywhere. Financial wellness is exploding. Mine is different. It is a financial wellness program that can be tied to a wellness program. So, you know, you do annual health insurance certification. If they take the course and they pass, maybe they get a discount on their insurance, or maybe they get in a drawing for an extra PTO day off. Or maybe you incentivize them with a passing score or through their wellness program and give them X points, just like they did biometric screening. So it's very different in approach. So it leads with health insurance. It's, in my world, you don't have money to invest in your 401k unless we can get to the fundamental of budgeting. So then we backfill it all year long with communication and courses. And these are courses that are modularized within, like, a 2-minute video with answering a question, with downloading a worksheet about your finances. So they're actual courses. And then you incentivize them through the wellness program and roll them out throughout the year, and then send tips throughout the year about everyday finances, of everything from saving money at Starbucks to saving money at the grocery store. So it really is designed as a program to make all of your other benefits work, because we cover, you know, life insurance and long-term disability and, you know, a dental and vision and 401k, all of those other things. The employees need education. So the courses are designed to make all of your benefits work within a financial wellness program.
That's great. And what's the business model? If I'm an employer, I mean, what's the pricing? What's the business model for me?
Yeah, so basically it's a PEPM, and as it scales, you know, it's based on a learning management platform. So you buy a certain number of seats. It goes from 100. If you buy up to 100 seats, you buy up to 250 seats, up to 500 seats, up to 1,000 seats, up to 2,000 seats, however you want to do it. And you basically pay a monthly fee for that on a PEPM type of thing. And then we roll it out throughout the year, and then you have access to reporting, so you can see the analytics behind it and be able to generate, you know, who's using it and packing the courses and where they stand within that. So it's really robust, and working with brokers, telemedicine was huge. So working with a company my size, I'm able to be responsive, and I developed a 10-minute, course that employers can actually roll out throughout the year so that they can get them to use the telemedicine piece.
Great. What do you see? What do you see kind of trending in the next few years as we kind of wind up this program? What do you see in this new class of benefits trending?
I see this really as a new class of benefits, and that's why I'm so excited to be a part of it, because think about it in the next couple of years. Because going back to that financial stress, this is mandatory and people don't know about debt-to-income ratios and where their money's going, the financial stress is going to continue to get worse over the next 3 years, and that is going to drive down productivity and cause those workers' comp and disability claims. And, there's so many aspects to an organization about the impact of this. So I think we will continue to see a rise up of new products and services. Like I said, it feels like, is it a bird, a plane? What is it? So people are throwing new things to the market because they know that it's such an aggressive program. So lots around robo-advisors, lots around educational tools, decision support. What I do is very much different from a decision support tool. Lots of apps. I think we see these employee loan programs that are coming in that can help employees. So definitely a lot going to continue to explode to try and address this problem. And that's why I've been so strategic about designing this, to make sure it's great that we have all those, but how do you educate those employees about those products, and how do you get them to use them if you don't have some way to educate them about it and engage them and get them to care? It's great if we've got a great app on our phone, but if we don't know what that is and how to use it, I'm not going to use it to its fullest capacity. Right. So I think it's going to continue to explode and be a ramp up.
Yep. It's fantastic, Denise. I really appreciate you, as always, having you on the program. I want to remind our listening audience that Denise will be speaking and with us at IHC Forum West in Las Vegas, November 9th and 10th. Tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you, Denise, if you would, please.
Absolutely. My company name is Money Starts Here. Got to start somewhere, so moneystartshere.com. And also mybenefitsacademy.com is another way. Just that's the product that I have. So those two ways, and you can Google search Denise Winston, and gosh, you'll find a lot of different ways. DeniseWinston.com is another way. So if you can't remember my name, remember Winston Tire, Winston Churchill, and Lord forbid, we know that no smoking, so no Winston cigarettes, right?
Denise, thank you so much. Travel safe back from Nashville to home, and we will see you in not too many days here in Las Vegas.
Wonderful. Excellent. Keep up the important work, and everybody listening as well. Thanks.